Hello, exiles. I've thought of trying another class except the Dead Eye that I've been playing for the past month or so, uh, moving away from Lightning Arrow, Lightning Spear, and other lightning related builds. So I've just finished the campaign with this Stormweaver, and I guess we have the proper stats for it. Um, I've had some leftover gear from farming with the dead eyes, so we're kind of okay for resistances and kind of okay for shield as well, close to 6k energy shield with 1.4k life, which is your last resort resource. Last resort resource, say that a few times. Point is, the campaign was nice. It was nice playing something else than a Deadeye with uh, seeing how the classes fare up until now. I've been using a Frostbolt Cold Snap combo to go through the campaign, which is nice because you throw 3 Frostbolts and then you snap them. But I know it says it right here. Any can also be cast on a Frostbolt to cause it to explode immediately. Any frozen enemies hit by the Frostbolt's explosion will be dealt Cold Snap's damage and have their freeze consumed. That last line, I didn't see it happening because I throw the Frostbolts, they'd blow up, and they would take what it felt like 3 times the Frostbolt DPS. This huge damage is not recognizable. So I thought, okay, maybe we push Cold Snap to the back burner and Frostbolt to the back burner and try and see what Comet can bring. Um, yeah, this is still SSF, but because I've been farming with Deadeye so much, I'm pretty set for currency. So right now, Comet says it's doing 5k. Um, let's try and keep the custom freeze frost wall setup active and the blasphemy for hypothermia active and see what we can do about this comet. Instead of trying to combo with cold snap, let's just make this a big damage dealer. So let's see, what can we reuse? Maybe glaciation, I'd like to reuse it. I've been using Cold Explosion and Strip Away on Frostbolt. Maybe this is a second option. We can't use Elemental Focus because we want to still want to freeze. Cascade is pretty slow on Frost on Comet. Yeah, if we're going to slow that down, has a small difference. Okay. Concentrated effect, yeah. Arcane Temple. Do I have Arcane Temple anywhere in here? No, maybe we could bring up an Arcane Temple. Unleash? Interesting. What does that do? Okay. Because we're using Arcane Temple on Ice Nova, no. Controlled Destruction. Blindside. Mobility. Not a lot of options, so I think Glaciation is. Yeah, it's kind of slow. And because of night scale, we're not regenerating mana unless we crit. And Comet's crit chance is 39%, which will be improved once Effigy of Cruelty takes effect. Shall we give it a try? Let's put Strip away and Cold Exposure back, which is a big damage upgrade versus bosses. Let's try it together. Let's take a low level map, try and find some monster elemental resistances and experience gain. And transcended monsters, that would mean uh, the ghostly enemies. Okay, well, the 30 elemental resistances will be nullified by hypothermia to some extent. Let's see what this does. Okay. Feels a bit slow, doesn't it? Feels a bit slow. A bit too slow for my liking. Okay. Let's get back in there. Good, because the other setup, let's set maybe Comet here and go back to Frost. Snap, Frostbolt. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that's the best option. Constraint effect. I was using it on Cold Snap. Unleash on Cold Snap. And Arcane Tempo here in Ice Nova. Appreciation. Frostbolt. Not good results. Not very good results. I'm saying not very good results because this is what Frostbolt does. So when it comes to clearing the trash mobs, it kind of does it faster than Ice Bolt. And then I can Cold Snap them if they're frozen. Which is, yeah, if anybody knows why the Cold Snap damage doesn't apply to the Frost Orbs being destroyed, go ahead and leave us a comment. Because that was more than half of the elite's life, which, it will mean that this should die in the first Frost Orb Cold Snap combo. Let's see what's going on here. We've been recording for. Let's try and get the map over with. And we also have the tech of Frost Nova if we get surrounded, which launches lots of freezes, which means lots of triggers on custom frozen, means lots of walls. Also Verglass, that support gem that says if you destroy walls, ice crystals, you get 1% cold damage added. That also doesn't seem to trigger as... Hey, we almost died there. It's because we're trying to do a Frost Nova and we're only doing cold snaps. It's a bit hectic, I won't lie. It's a bit active, too active for my liking. That's why I've been playing the Dead Eye with Lightning Arrow and Lightning Spear for so long. It's mostly spray and pray, fire and forget, easy to play. You don't really have to pay attention to what's going on screen because everything is removed from screen before you get to see it. But I'm glad the survivability of the build is on. I think it's on the higher end. I just remembered when I brought the Deadeye to mapping at the beginning of the league. Yep, everything died as soon as it appeared on screen, but if there was something that did not die as soon as it appeared on screen, my character would just melt instantly. So still found no gear. Yeah, and trying to kill elites with Frost Orb is not quick. I'll be looking around for other options because this Frostbolt Cold Snap interaction seemed quite nice when I first found it, which is yesterday morning. But I didn't go looking through the forum or through tutorials or other builds, other guides, to see what's the expected uh, result in this situation. So yeah. I don't know if anybody else was trying to make a cold mage build work, um, you know, without some extremely specific tech, an item, a pretty specific, unique tech you will get after you've completed the game. Maybe for mapping, I could have two item setups. For clearing the map, I could use Threaded Light, I believe it's the name of the focus, which gives you up to 12 or 13% more spell damage per 10 spirit. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I think I have it in my stash. Somewhere around here, focus Threaded Light, this thing. This would be, flat damage on the map. It could help with the speed of clearing a map. Let's see what that one does. Extra lightning spell physical, not that good. No. It also gives us some chaos resistance, 75 flat spell damage, and it is corrupted to have extra energy shield. Yeah. While this would mean less energy shield, it's not corrupted, but it would mean, let's take a look. Frostbolt is 830, going up 15%, and that is with the lowest amount of spirit you can find. Okay, let's give it a try. They at least, mobs at least die when Castle Freeze activates. But yeah, let's try and get through this elite. I do seem to be moving around a lot. I'm hoping that does something regarding projectiles and melee attacks against my character. It could be that it's also an effect of this weekend's lag we had on the European servers. I think people have already touched on the subject this weekend and somewhere up until Tuesday night before the last 0.2.0H update came along. There was a huge lag in European servers. The network was spiking somewhere in between 30 milliseconds up to 500, and most of the time your character couldn't fluently move. I mean, the game was anything but fluent. Seeing my character move around so smoothly, it's nice, isn't it? Maybe I should add momentum to my Frost Orb. I wonder if that would work. Since I'm moving and Frost Orb has a large lifespan, meaning momentum would have the chance to trigger to activate. Let's give it a shot. Gems. Momentum. We have it. It needs some more dexterity to use it, but I think we have. Sure, I'll remove blindside. And what would we? Okay, let's remove strip away for now. 40% more damage. That is base damage. Did it trigger? Yeah, there is some green stuff on around there. But it's still very low damage. Yeah, thankfully Cold Snap can handle that. I don't know. Does it feel like it's doing more damage? If only we had a DPS tracker, a native DPS tracker within the game. Say when custom freeze target activates triggers. There's a lot of stuff going on the screen, and I don't know. This is the safest build to play because if your screen is overloaded with stuff you do, uh, you'd have to know boss mechanics or even mob mechanics by heart, which is not complicated right now. Surely there aren't that many bosses. You've already seen most of them in the campaign. Um, when you get to the end of the map and you do have a boss, it shouldn't be a surprise that it's doing the thing it's doing. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, there are no bosses that do different stuff in the map than they do in the campaign, except for what's his name, the construct you find in Temple of Kopek, um, Blackjaw or Breakjaw. Yeah, it has a fire breath and fire attacks during the campaign, and lightning breath and lightning attacks in in if it's if it appears in a tower, because that's the only place where you can find it. So way awesome! We completed the map. We even got the level. So options. Mm, Comet is too slow for mapping. The animation is not pleasant. Any other ice related skills that I'd like to try? I mean, I know what Eye of Winter does, and DPS here is abysmal. Its only use is to trigger stuff, uh, which it won't be able to cast when frozen because it won't have the damage to freeze stuff. Hmm, Projectile Eye of Winter. I wonder if you can cold snap. No, this can only be cast on a Frostbolt. Any frozen enemies hit by the Frostbolt explosion will be dealt cold snaps damage and have their freeze consumed. So that's the trick. That's the thing. You'd need your Frostbolt to freeze stuff before you can apply cold snaps damage to it. Which, yeah, I mean, I've used that interaction, but separately. Frostbolt freezes stuff, and then I cold snap the frozen stuff. Which is interesting. Why wouldn't I see the? I'll review that. So on cold damage, this is cold damage. Ice Level, Frostbolt, Cold Snap, Skill the Frost Mage, Frost Wall, Eye of Winter, Hailstorm Rounds requires Crossbow, Quarterstaff. requires wand. Does not require wand. Hmm. But you need wand for the crit hit chance from the vision roll. Well, so 0 to 0.2.0, this is everything you have on cold spells. Not to say it's going to be everything you'll see by the end, by when, by the time that the game comes out of early access and gets a full release. But I'll keep playing around with the skills, see if we can improve what we can improve. Maybe even throw look around for other builds, see how they figured out the cold sorceress, cold Stormweaver. Okay, thank you everyone. See you next time.